Welcome to part 4, where we'll be creating the top cover of the SpaceRover in this video. So we're moving on to the Insert tab, and we're going to create a new part studio. Starting off with the 3 planes. Of course, we don't need all the planes today, we're only keeping the top view, so we'll be removing the front and right view, leaving only the top view here. Moving on to the sketch button, selecting the sketch plane, which is the top in this case, and shifting the view so that we're able to sketch properly. And then we use the drop down menu to get to the center point rectangle and just randomly create a rectangle with any dimension. Adding the dimension on this side should be 140. Apologies, 140. Make sure the dimensions are in millimeter. If your laptop is using a different measurement, then you just type in mm at the end of the number you type in, and that would just easily convert the number into the millimeters, which will give you the same dimensions as mine. So 140 and 120, click on the tick, and then extrude that shape to a distance of 5 millimeters. So we just type in 5 here, enter, and done. Now, as you can see here, we're looking at the top view. We want to shift to the bottom view. So once we shift into the bottom view, we go into click sketch, selecting this plane as a sketch point, and then again use the center point rectangle and just randomly again create a square or a rectangle, add in the dimensions of 1, 3, 6 on this side, and then on the other side I'm going to add in the dimension of 1, 1, 6, and all of these again should be in millimeters. We need an extra lines in the middle, so we're going to use the offset tool here. So we just click on offset and then click on all of the inner lines that we just created. So click on them, and as you can see, it's created a rectangle outside, but we need it towards the inside, so we just drag the mouse inside. This would show a number here. We double click on that and we change it to 3, so that's an offset of 3. Okay, and make sure those dimensions are in millimeters again. Click on the tick here. Now if I just zoom in, you will notice there is this shape here. This is what we're going to extrude. So I click on that, and I want to make that an extrusion of 3 millimeters again. If I click on the tick sign and just have a look at my shape, you'll notice I have 2 different extrusions here, and this one is hollow from the inside, or is sort of shelled. Move back to the isometric shape, so we're looking at the top view. We're going to create a new plane, so usually we just draw on the top plane. We don't need the top plane now. I'm just going to switch it off, and then we go into this one here and then select this surface here. And if I just shift the view, you will notice that this says plane 1 at the top, and if I look at it from the side, you can see this plane is higher than the regular plane where we usually draw. Now this one, you can type in 30 as a value, so you will have this shape at 30. Okay, you will have a plane there, and this is where we're going to create the new sketch now. So we click on sketch and then selecting the plane 1 as a sketching plane and shifting the view so we can look at the shape from the top. Now next we're going to create a rectangle, but for the rectangle we're going to use an aligned rectangle and draw it here somewhere, but we also need some lines, a construction line. So I'm going to use a construction line here, click on this line here, and then just drag the mouse and make sure it is aligned or it's horizontal. As you can see, if I move the mouse, there's a line that keeps following me. So if I click on the ESC button on the keyboard, that line disappears, leaving me with just a clean construction line. Now we can use this aligned rectangle, so I just click on this shape here, click somewhere inside the original rectangle that we had, and just drag the mouse away. This will give me a rectangular shape. We need to be adding dimensions, so I'm gonna start off with adding a dimension of this angle right here. So I'll just click on this one here, and then click on this line here, dragging the mouse, and that should be a dimension of 30. Yeah, and then this line here should be a dimension of 1, 2, 4, and then this line here should be a dimension of 4, 1. Okay, dimension of 4, 1. Next we're going to add in I'm going to mirror these lines. I'm going to use the mirror tab here, select a mirror line, which is my construction line here, select entities to be mirrored, and that's going to be these 4 lines that I've just created from the rectangle. I'm going also to need an arc, so I'm just going to move on to the 3-point arc here, and I'm just going to randomly click somewhere here on the line and then just drag it all the way here. And as you can see, it's not exactly aligned. First we need to add a dimension for it. This should be 35. Okay, so this is a very, very small arc, but I need it to be tangent to this part here. It needs to be touching these 2 lines. So by using the tangent feature, we're able to connect it. If this one is not tangent for you, you can just click on the drop down menu and select tangent, and then you just click on the arc and the line, and then click on the arc again and this line on the other side. You can see that this has shifted, the whole shape has shifted to the other side. We can easily fix that by using the dimension. So we click on this circle here, and then we click on this edge here, and that should be a distance of, let's try 30 maybe. Yeah, 30 is fine. Yeah. Okay, and then next we're just going to add in another arc, and this arc should have a dimension of 75. Yeah, as you can see, this arc is very, very large, so I'm just going to drag it away, and then I'm going to select this tangent line again, and then tangent with this one. Yeah, so these should be connected. They should be touching, but they're not touching. If I just zoom in, and you can see this line is not touching this one. So what we can do is just use this line here and then just extend that to this side, and then you can do the same on the other end as well. Oops. Just make sure again the line is there, and then again on this side here, just zoom, 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 and then from this point again just cross it over to the other side. Okay, by doing that we can now get rid of the extra lines that we don't need. So we click on the trim sign, trim this line, trim that line, and then also trim these lines on the side and remove these inner lines here. So we have a clean shape which looks like that. Now we can click on the tick sign. So we have our original shape which we drew on the top view, and then we have the new shape we just created on the additional plane. We move on to the loft feature, click on the surface here, and then click on the shape that we just created. And then by clicking the tick sign and switching off the plane, you can see we have a new shape that's just been added here. Okay, let's try to shell. Yeah, it's working, so we can have that at 2.5, and just as it is, just shell it so we can see the surface in here. And then additionally we need to just click on this top surface and extrude it. So we're going to extrude it for not 25, we're going to extrude it for only 5 millimeters. And now we can see that we have a shape here. Now this shape needs to be cut because there's going to be a solar panel that goes into the top. So we just click on sketch, click on this plane here, look at the view from the top, and then go into the align rectangle again. So just from the inside, create a rectangle. Don't worry about the dimensions, leave it. And now we can add in the dimensions. This one should be 1 2 1. Yeah, and then if you notice there, the line has just crossed that side, so we can just pull it back inside, and then this one here should be dimension of 38. Okay, and the distance from this line to that line should be 1. Yeah, so now we have our shape there. We can create our construction line one more time and mirror these lines onto the other side. So I'm just going to click on the mirror, again select a mirror line, which is this one, and then select the entities that are going to be mirrored, 1 2 3 and 4, and just click on the tick sign. Now I have two boxes, 1 and 2. These are going to be both extruded, but to remove material, and that will be a 3mm extrusion to remove material. Clicking on the tick sign, I now have a groove at the top, which I can now use to put in or insert the solar panels. That's the end of part 3. This is your top cover for the SpaceRover. I'll see you in the next part.